Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Four Trained Savages podcast, episode number 208. My name is Rob. Tyler, as always, is on the other end of the Zoom room. The Yankees today is June 11th, and the Yankees just finished up a series against Boston this past weekend, Tyler, and then they just played their first game against Kansas City yesterday, and they're going to play in a couple hours against them for game two, and then tomorrow, and then they head back out to Fenway, Tyler, which we will each be in attendance for one of those games, and we're
Yep.
heading up to Boston. So that's why we're recording right now and fitting it in for you guys. So appreciate everyone for joining us. If you'd like, subscribe, stick around, follow us on our social channels. If you're new to the pod, we appreciate you joining us. But Tyler, the Yankees won last night against Kansas City, but we wanted to
Yep.
talk a little bit too about the upsetting series against Boston at the stadium and just get into some storylines and get into some rumors and potentially
hmm
Giancarlo Stanton coming back this weekend, which would be pretty surprising because I think he was on track to come back. I think it was around June 20th, and granted, this week is June. It would be June 13th, 14th, or 15th, but still, it's a little ahead of schedule. And he's hitting in Somerset, so we got some stuff to talk about, man. How you doing? What'd you make of the Boston series? Are you a little more down in the dumps? You can't really be that much because they're
No.
still in first place, but
Yep.
still a little frustrating. How we doing?
No, yeah, it was frustrating, especially in the way in which they lost. I mean, I feel like they scored a ton of runs all series. The Sox kind of just scored more.
Yeah,
Had some pitching explosions here and there, but no, I was definitely not someone that was on Twitter absolutely losing my bananas over this.
no.
Um, Yanks holes are clear, right? Like they need some arms. They definitely need to fix up the bullpen, especially with Weave out, like you're seeing. Um,
This
there's some,
bullpen is in a shaky spot. It's not going to be what it is, but it definitely needs some
yeah,
reinforcements or guys to step up.
exactly. And then one of the reinforcements you thought you had coming back in Jake Cousins getting his elbow looked at.
Not
It's
good.
never a good sign, Rob.
Not
And
good.
so yeah, they really. I think you're kind of just seeing the exposed pitching depth a little bit. Again, we're in the weeds of June. I would like to put the Sox out of their misery as well, but it's when you win 9 out of your last 11 series, it's just simply not the end of the world when
Yeah.
your rival scores. Would they score double digit runs twice
hmm
against us? I think.
hmm
Yeah, it'd be different to me if the Yanks got shut out, didn't hit it at all. I mean, they hit Crochet. The pitching got whacked after being the best rotation in baseball for 6, 7 weeks, something like that. So shit happens. Best way I could put it.
Yeah, I agree. Some storylines also too, and I would note that we'll get into this like overall, but you can fix what just happened this past weekend against Boston, and you can go out and make a statement in Fenway. Granted, the Red Sox they haven't started the way that you would say is a playoff team at this moment in time, but we know there's a lot of season. But if you go out there and you make some noise in Fenway this weekend and you win that series in a commanding way, it makes a statement. I think
Mm-hmm.
I know people on Twitter and stuff are saying that it doesn't have the same cachet. For me, man, it's always going to have that cachet. I don't know about you, Tyler.
So he's gonna have
I
a little bit of juice.
it always has a little juice. I don't really care. There's been years where the Red Sox have sucked and they still play the Yankees hard, and it's just I think it's one of those staple rivalries that matters even when some teams aren't good in certain
Yep.
years, and just it's a good barometer to show that if anything, man, it's like one of those series like you can't make a big deal about regular season games. I told
Mm-hmm.
like single series and stuff because there's so many other games. But when you think of like the closest thing that you can get to a big test or how a team will respond in crucial moments and what would be like a parallel in the postseason,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like those Red Sox series, and especially if they do bounce back and they are a team that's in the postseason. That's just me. I know some other fans may think otherwise, but I think they're important series to win, especially if you can bury them or you
Mm-hmm.
can put them farther back in the standings. Because listen, Red Sox go out and win the series, or dare I say, make a drastic sweep or something, you let
Yeah.
them back in the division race very
100%.
easily. So, but
Yeah.
let's talk about before we get into it more of it because they play him again. Let's talk about a couple of the little storylines. Weaver's still on the IL. Boone recently talked about Luis Heel saying exactly that he's more touch and feel right now. They're
What
feeling
does
him
that
out.
even mean?
I just we
Luis
know
Heel is touch and feel.
we know that it's vague terms
Yeah.
with this regime. But you mentioned too, man, Jake Cousins, like people have been throwing it out, and I completely agree with it. Like he's entering Scott F. Frost territory if he keeps
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
So, and
He
he's
had
an
like a good
important arm.
month,
He
it
he
felt like.
was man, he was really good in the postseason for them, and it's very disappointing that Kirk Cousins' cousin is looking the way he is right now, and we're gonna hear more about
Yeah.
exactly, but
I
it's
don't
not
anticipate great things.
it's not exactly a thing. Yeah, it's not a thing you can bet on or a bank on right now. So we'll see. I don't know if you saw this, Tyler. Did you see the rumor about Luis Robert for the Yankees being in the conversation?
I did see that. It's just I've been so many Luis Robert, rumors the last what 4 years it feels like at this point. Um, I'm virtually operating under don't believe it till I see it. At
Hmm.
least for him, like just getting moved, period. But I mean, I'm not going to hate that. We can
No,
have five
I
outfielders, I guess, but I don't know.
yeah, I it would be a lot of maneuvering and it would be kind of a shot for the Yankees, but it sounds like a lot of teams are interested. I would really be surprised if it is something that pans out. But
Yeah,
if we're sitting here then in August talking about Robert, and how he's going to fit into this team, all
that'd be
right,
great.
let's
That's a
let's see
good,
how it
yeah.
goes.
Sign me
Uh,
up for that problem.
yeah. Yankees won yesterday in a really commanding fashion. They won
Mhm.
10-2. Uh, you saw Aaron Judge hit some more home runs. I mean, what else can we say about this guy? Austin Wells, who has been struggling a tad at the plate.
Mhm.
Tyler, the on base percentage is really one of the worst on the team, if not the worst. I think exactly, and with qualified at bats, you probably have to look.
Right up
But
there.
a really good win for the Yankees yesterday. Before we talk about the Red Sox series, because I think that we can go a little more in detail there. So big day for Wells. Grisham got them on the board with a single RBI. And then Bellinger got his 1,000th hit. And then the other big storyline, I think, coming from this one, Max Fried just continues to be an absolute workhorse. And
Dog.
you can't talk enough about how well he, after that terrible LA start and just his worst start of the year, just has been gangbusters. He's been
Mhm.
really good. So those are the stories out of yesterday. Hoping that they can continue to win this series and hoping they can do so tonight. But let's talk about the Red Sox series. So game one, Will Warren on the mound. He went five and a third, four earned runs, four walks, six Ks. It really came to the top of the fifth where Warren got into some hot water and let on some runs and a lot of base traffic. And it was looking like a cruise because the Yankees went up 7-0 by the bottom of the
Mhm.
second with the Volpe homer, Jazz homer. But Warren still gets the win and but it wasn't exactly a start I would say that instills the most confidence in you, but we know that this is something that he's just going to continue to have to develop and have to feel things out, right?
It
And
was a very rookie-esque ending to
yeah,
a good start, or a rookie type of feel ending, right? He
yeah,
gives up only 3 hits, but 4 earned runs and 4 walks on the day. Just kind of a lot of stuff that felt like it didn't need to get there necessarily.
yeah.
But it did. And again, I think you hit it pretty smooth there is like stuff he's gonna have to kind of go through and work through. Um, Glad they didn't blow this one though, because it kind of did feel a
it,
little
it
weird at one
felt a
point.
little bit like it on that Friday night, but
Yeah.
the bullpen held it together. Goldschmidt gave him a little insurance too with a homer to right field, and the Devers. I mean, just you can't talk him. I fully expect him to destroy the Yankees at Fenway. Tyler, I don't know how else
Every
to
time.
describe it. The guy is just. It doesn't matter if it's Garrett Cole. It's just the franchise man. He hits against the Yankees. He is the second coming of David Ortiz. There's no like for the way that he hits against the Yankees. It's bananas to me, and it's frustrating, but I don't
Hey,
know.
he's hitting against everyone, but yeah, he sure as shit is hitting against the Yanks
It's crazy.
for
But they
some time now.
The Yankees won this game, and then game two lost this one 10-7. This was a Ryan Yarborough you're gonna put it like this, man. We've been singing his praises.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
It's
game
a
that he just
Yarby implosion.
he get it was an implosion. 4 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, only 3 strikeouts, and it was really put out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees, the closest they had it within was 8-5 after a Reyes ground out to shortstop, and they had some real opportunities, Tyler. I mean, Judge was in some key spots against Crochet. Crochet, one of his worst, probably his worst start on the
Mm-hmm.
year. 6 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. There were times where the Yankees could have gotten back in this game, man. And Ian Hamilton, if I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about him, where last year we had him high on the trust tree, high
Yep.
in our minds as a reliever. This year it's really going downhill. I mean, I know we don't
Very
put too
much
much
so.
stock in the ERA, but it's a 5 ERA on the year.
Yeah, well,
Um,
once you get some decent sample size in there, I mean, it's definitely fair game at some point. But I mean, yeah, dude, the box scores don't necessarily look great lately. 2 earned against the Sox, struggled against the Dodgers a little bit. Um, not there's not a ton of dudes you can trust right now in the bullpen.
yeah,
Hammy, Laza, a lot of guys that are not very trustworthy at the moment.
no. And yeah, the Red Sox really, this was also Trevor Story is awakening during this. I mean, he's been terrible all season for the
For
Red
years,
Sox.
it feels like too.
And yeah, I mean, I was talking with some of my Red Sox friends, and I'm like, he's in DJ territory from last year. It was
Hmm.
his OPS was around like 500, like barely at the 600 rate. So, um, not 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 the way that you want. I mean, Tyler, I don't know. I don't want to put too much like stock into it at all, but it was a little frustrating seeing this team allow the Red Sox to just pile on, pile on, pile on.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not as if they were losing real close games or something, but it is what it is. They lost Crochet. I saw this game as an opportunity where they were hopping on Crochet and they were able to get after him, which I feel more
You
encouraged
kind
for
of
that.
have to win when you hit a pitcher
Yeah.
like him hard.
But I feel more encouraged for Friday, which I'll
Yep.
be going to at Fenway,
Is it
that
Crochet again?
it's Crochet and Yarbrough. So,
Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
hopefully Yarby doesn't have a blow up start, but then it's like, how many times are you going to get Crochet like that?
Yeah.
Probably not a lot.
Not a
So,
lot, no.
and then the last game, which in my brain was, I think, the most frustrating out of the two losses.
Hmm.
Aaron Judge, bottom of the first, 2 run home run. What else can you say?
Were they
Absolute.
up in every game this series? Yeah, right.
Game number two, I don't think they were.
They
No,
were never
game.
up against Crochet at all.
No, no, they weren't. Oh, no, they were after the
I was
Wells
gonna
home
say,
run.
weren't they up like
Yeah, no,
five
I
two or
thought.
5-3
Yeah,
or
they were
something?
after the Wells home run in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, you're up
Uh,
early in every game this series.
so
You
and
lose 2 out of 3.
that's another thing to talk about, man. That's the
Baseball, man.
frustrating part. And
Yeah.
I think the storyline from this one was Carlos Rodon. Um, I sent out a tweet that I think is how I feel and a lot of other Yankee fans feel that it was a game that you felt, especially when it was, I think it was in the bottom of the fifth after the LeMahieu home run, and he allowed the Narvaez home run in the top of the sixth, and then the
Yeah,
Duran
that
to
one was
score.
bad.
That top of the sixth, not only, but here's the thing: I'm going to not only put it on Carlos Rodon, but I think that's a touch and feel, using his words, a touch and
Yep.
feel situation for Boone there too. And I think you can put blame on
That's
each of
fine.
their shoulder
Yeah.
in my brain, but I think the bigger thing with Rodon coming out of this game, and he's going to pitch again this weekend, Tyler.
Yep.
I think he should. I don't think he's pitching, or he may be pitching tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he's pitching on Saturday. Let me just double check that. Yeah, he's going to be pitching on Saturday, so you'll see that one, Tyler, at Fenway. These are it's a big start, like a land. I don't want to call it a landmark start, but it's a point where you can instill even more confidence in the Yankee fans and saying like he's had an all-star season, but if he
Yep.
can go out there and beat the Red Sox, like that's where I say this is where I say that those series matter in my brain because you had a lead 3-2 after. My God, DJ LeMahieu is awakened
Yeah.
after that home run,
He's been something too.
and you had a lead. You be a stopper. You go 6 innings. You only gave up two to that point, and but then he just allowed the blow up inning to happen, and then they're down. You blink and it's down. You're down 7-3.
Yeah.
So I think this, to me, coming out of the frustration, like I had Carlos Rodon in my mind, but I don't want to discount what he's done so far this year because he's been really good. But guess what, Tyler? This
Mhm.
Saturday, if he changes it and he goes out there and he goes into Fenway and he pitches well, I'll forget about it and I won't give a shit. So
Yeah, you kind of have to hope that that's just what it is. And to be honest, he looked disgusting, what, 90% of the game. And then it was very Carlos Rodon fashion, walk two, hit by pitch, whatever it was
yep,
in
yep.
both spots. And you're kind of like, yeah, this is going to happen. And you're
It,
not even giving it up to the top of the lineup, really. You're kind of just giving it up to the bottom half of the order, which makes it that much more infuriating.
that with a lot of these games, man, with like both of these games, you're allowing the bottom of the order to
To
beat you.
fuck you.
Stop
Yeah,
doing that. Stop
exactly. Yep.
doing that.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're kind of just giving him, I don't want to say get me over pitches, but just going through the motions. I will say I won't put much stock into his outing in terms of like guy can't pitch in a big game because I think he's shown that a couple times this year. But certainly, yeah, I mean I'm sure he knows as well as us. Like
I don't
there's
think
no
it's a
rhyme or
matter.
reason to blow
I
that.
don't think it's a matter because you're right. He has shown in regular season spots that and during that Cleveland series last year, excuse me, that
Yeah,
he's
pitch well
been
against the Padres,
that
the
he's
Mets this year.
that he's been capable to do that. But like in my brain, tied 1-1 after getting walloped the night before.
Yeah,
You have a lead in the
Sunday Night
fifth.
Baseball. Yeah, you need to pull that out.
So
Can't
that's
do that.
where I'm saying and it's going to happen again this Saturday.
Yep.
It's going to be I don't know what a primetime Fox baseball.
Hmm.
That's a game you got to win. I mean, if they drop the first game, which you got Crochet on the mound against Yarbrough, that's very possible. That's a start where you go, Carlos, let's nut up and not,
Got to be the horse. Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I see what
I'm
you're
with you there
saying.
though. I'm
Yeah,
with you there.
yeah,
I'm just speaking to the masses there in terms of the internet.
yeah. I feel you. I feel you. So, let's do our savages of the series. I'm gonna own up to it. I'm gonna say it. I did not think DJ LeMahieu will be good.
Let's
I
go.
do.
Hey, I mean, I'm
I
with you here.
think
I haven't
I
I'm
think
riding the coaster until it falls.
exactly. I think the jury is still out a little bit. I got to see more than a couple weeks of productive baseball.
I agree.
But here, listen, I'm a DJ LeMahieu doubter.
Hmm.
I was. I think a lot of Yankee fans were. But you got to own up to it and you got to say he's been good.
Yep.
He was 4 for 10 in this Boston series with the home run, with the home run and 3 RBIs on the year. Especially when you look at it different from like last season. Oh my God,
Hmm.
is it so much better? It's
365
a
on
th-
base.
a
That's the thing that's talking to me.
a 365 on base and a 765 OPS, which listen, if he can keep it together and continue to do it, I will be pleasantly surprised.
I would be, dude, if it starts with a 7 at all, very pleasantly surprised. And people like, I'm not saying you shouldn't want improvements on the roster, but if the Yankees decide in some capacity that DJ is going to play second base for them the rest of the year and Jazz is going to be your third baseman, it gives you an opportunity to upgrade elsewhere, pitching and bullpen starters, So if he can kind of force their hand, I mean, to put it in perspective, Rob, he's accumulated zero point 0.8 F WAR on the year in 21 games. That's as much as Austin Wells. That's more than Jason Dominguez. That's as much as Ben Rice. Um, just putting it into perspective.
Yeah. Who would you go with for this series, Tyler?
Kind of got to go with the obvious here on the other end. It's got to be Aaron Judge in my book. 6 hits, 5 runs scored, 2 homers. Tried to literally win that rubber match game by himself. 5 RBIs, a walk, and he's just Aaron Judge, man. I mean, you kind of started it off with this is like, what else more can you say? The dude's getting on base at nearly a 500 clip. He's hovering around 400 in the middle of June in terms of batting average. Um, the clip I saw the other day of, I don't even know who it was saying, their vote for MVP was Raleigh
Oh,
so
you saw
far.
that clip on that
What
podcast?
was,
Listen,
was just abundantly absurd and clear clickbait there. It's not necessarily close in any department. So it's just Judge, man. It's just what it is.
no, it's crazy. I know MLB Network was trying to do some segments because they have to keep it relevant
You
and be
have
like
to have a
Cal
race,
Raleigh,
you
and they
know?
got,
Yeah.
but there is no race. This man is almost hitting 400 right now, and he continues to improve upon historical seasons. There's it. It's not a two-man race. It's
No.
Aaron Judge and the field. That is
Yeah,
exactly what
exactly.
Aaron Judge in the field. That is the MVP race right now.
Hmm.
And until it inches anywhere closer, and I don't think Judge wants to let that happen because he has a lot of motivations this season to prove a lot of people wrong, and he wants a championship. So, and he's going out there and he's leading the team. So, I don't think it's Cal Raleigh is very good. I think
Yep.
he's a great player. You're not Aaron
It's
Judge.
just simply not, dude. It's just not close. Like, the weight conversation was closer last year. Um,
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, Bobby Witt had it much more.
Guy's
Uh,
got 5.5 WAR on the season, and we're in June. Like, he could very well end up as a 12 WAR player. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Let's do our Savage Slump watch.
They stink.
I already talked about it, but mine is going to go to Carlos Rodon in this past series
Mhm.
against Boston. But you can change it this Saturday at Fenway. So hoping to see that. Who do you have?
I suppose I kind of would like to go with a reliever, but I kind of do want to be a jerk a little bit here. And I kind of want to give
Do
it
it.
to Will Warren just because you've been pleasant thus far. Five and a third, the only game we won, it's just tough for me to give it to you here, but you go five and a third, you only give up 3 hits, but then you also give up 4 runs in turn, and 4 walks there. So I kind of want to see you be a bridge that saves the pen. If you don't make it as close as it kind of was, maybe we don't have to use Fernando Cruz, Laza, and then Devin Williams. So I'm just looking at the long haul there. I'm like, hey, you made us burn some pen arms we might not have had to burn if you just made it through the six squeaky clean. So,
Devin Williams too on that Friday night. Good
yeah.
outing, and he's going to
Hmm.
be tested this weekend too, and could in these next two games against
In some big spots.
Kansas City. Also, all right, so we'll finish off with this. So Giancarlo Stanton is making his way back, and that means that the Yankees are going to have some spots open, and that means that he's going to be filled in somewhere. Um, I th I don't know if you can agree or disagree. I think he's going to play this weekend. What do you think?
I do. Yeah.
I think he's going to
I
be
think it's
penciled.
almost be you're a fool if you think not.
Yeah, I think like he's going to be penciled in for Friday. I mean, he had a
I think I'm gonna
RBI.
miss him Saturday. I think you're gonna see him Friday. I'm gonna miss him Saturday.
I think he played yesterday, he got the RBI single. I think he got a walk, and then today he had an RBI double. I
Hmm.
mean, like, and here's the thing too. He only has to hit, so you're not
Yeah.
really he just jogs and they're like, we
Yep.
don't need you to run fast. Just fucking smack the ball and we don't give a shit.
And also,
So
dude, I think he's been ready for like some time now.
yeah.
They're just taking it slow because there's no need.
And also, too, side note, Marcus Stroman made his rehab
Hmm.
start. They're just keeping it under the 140,
Well, yep, that
Tyler.
vesting option, man. I'm calling such baloney
He
on the
went
duration of this injury.
he went 3 1/3, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 Ks. So
Listen, man, I'm
he'll be
rooting for
pitching
Stroh
again.
though, because he's in some way going to play a role on this team. Um, they need pitchers, so
I agree.
whether it's a trade, like there's still
Yeah.
opportunity there too.
Uh,
Um,
but I would say so. I forget where I saw it, but I saw a good clip or a take on this, and I completely agree with it when it comes to Stanton. Right? Um, I think what you're seeing too, like I think now the Yankees are in a much more comfortable spot when it comes to like the interchangeable parts in the outfield and what they can do. They're starting to see Ben Rice. I mean, he caught at the end of the game yesterday.
mhm.
I would really like to see him get
That'd
actual
be dope.
catching opportunities just because that gives you a level of flexibility. But then also think too, when Ben Rice when Stanton comes back, maybe that's with how good Paul Goldschmidt is against lefties. Maybe that's an opportunity. Okay, Paul Goldschmidt. I know you want to keep Goldie on the field, but I'm just saying
Mhm.
throughout the rest of the season, this is excluding the postseason for
Get him some
now.
rest.
Yeah, give Paul Goldschmidt some rest against righties. put Ben Rice in there, DH Stanton, and
Hmm.
that's kind of something that I'm feeling out or thinking about. But like it gives them now like more so than they've had before with Giancarlo Stanton. They now
Yep.
have that flexibility having Trent Grisham being much better than he was, Ben Rice now emerging. But I think like when it comes to who should be getting more preference, who should be getting more playing time, listen, you need Giancarlo Stanton to be hitting well
Good.
and
Yeah.
hitting on clicking on all cylinders. So I don't really want to hear any of the like when it comes down to it, like Ben Rice should be playing much more here and there. Because I will say this, Ben Rice's OPS has dipped to where you would hope that it would stay and hover around. But like the Yankee, when it comes to the debate of like who should be playing, I think it's like an even split or like the 4-3, 4-2 when it
Hmm.
comes to a week. That's where I'm thinking.
I think
So,
I think you kind of hit it on the head. I just think it's a matchup thing. Honestly, I think Stanton's going to get the majority. Like if there's 6 games in a week, I think Stanton plays 3 or 4 and Ben Rice plays 2 or 3. I think that's
yeah,
a very real possibility. But again, Rob, I think we're finally a team. Like, you watch the Rays all these years and even the Guardians and some of these guys that have a ton of righties and lefties on their team and just a bunch of, bench bats.
yeah,
We're going to be a team, Rob, that if you're facing a left-handed pitcher, Stanton's going to be in the game. Goldschmidt's going to be in the game to start. But you have dudes like Ben Rice, Trent Grisham, maybe Belly. Like you have a couple of those bats off the bench. So when that lefty pitcher gets pulled and they bring in another righty to face Stanton and Goldie, boom, you have a counter right there that we've never had bats on the bench that we've been itching to use. Like a la Mike Ford feels like the last time that was a thing. So I'm more excited for that. Like, right. Like, I mean, we've all kind of heard like it's a good problem to have. I mean, when there's good bats on the bench, you'd like to use them, but I think it's kind of cool. They'll be potentially in a position to have like legitimate weapons off the bench. You're not like, no offense to Peraza or Waldo in any way, or DJ or Pablo Reyes or Vivas, but you're not a weapon off the bench. Pulling Ben Rice off the bench in a bases loaded 1 out scenario, down 2, and they bring in a righty to face Stanton, that's a weapon in my head. So I'm fired up for that. But yeah, they're gonna
yeah,
get G playing time, and I think it'll sort itself out. I think Trent is finding his way towards the bench a little bit more.
yeah.
Just my opinion.
Well,
So
I
I think
no.
it slowly works itself out.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't think it's. I, I can already. You can already know what's gonna. You already know what's going to happen when Stanton gets back into the lineup. It's going to be a whole debate on Twitter and all the comments saying
You see different lineup a lot.
but it's going to be a lot of comments about who's missing ABs. He should be getting ABs. But you said it perfectly. Like they have so many different pieces now where they
Mhm.
may have not had it for the last couple of years of bench guys that now they can put a better mix in there and adding Stanton to the lineup in where you need to keep him healthy. This is like the best possible thing you can ask for
Yeah.
of Ben Rice hitting above league average and hitting very well. Trent Grisham, you mentioned it. He's taken a step back, but you're hoping that he can
But still been solid, you
be
know?
average or
Yeah.
close to average. That's a good problem to have. We've said it a million times, but it is a good problem to have.
Yep.
And it just comes down to like, listen, man, I don't really want to hear it about like for any of the guys, like, don't want to hear about the health or here and there. You need to find a way to mix these pieces together and have
Hmm.
them ready by October baseball. And now having Stanton in there should have fans excited to see what they can do rather than like having a stupid debate over he needs more at bats here, he needs more at bats there. And I hope that they figure it out. So,
Yeah, I think that conversation is fair for like the Jason and Trent debacle that's been going on. I feel like that's been stirring a lot of pots lately.
mhm,
But Stan will get his AB. Like I don't think they're too worried.
no.
This stuff will sort itself out swimmingly. I feel like they kind of have a log jam, but again, we're not used to having a bat on the bench. A lot of these teams do, man. Like the Dodgers. I mean, they got Ha-Seong Kim sitting on the bench. They got Max Muncy sitting on the bench sometimes. Like we've never had the luxury of having an actual bat on the bench, and I hope it stays that way in some sense because you never know what can happen, Rob. I mean,
Mm,
truly. So
yeah,
I'm all right with it right now.
I agree. So the Yankees go ahead into this weekend. We'll both be there for two separate games. I'll be there on Friday. Tyler will be there on Saturday. So I'm excited, man, to play
Mhm.
to see some Fenway. To see Fenway, I've been last time I was there was 2 years ago. So I'm very excited to watch a game there. Weather's looking good. Knock on wood there. And I think that we talk about like this Yankees team now for the past couple of years has sort of followed a pattern of hot start, June swoon, summer swoon.
Take it easy,
This
Phantom
is
ILs.
take them easy, Phantom ILs. I think this now, looking at the way they came off a bad weekend in the Bronx against the Red Sox, you got to go into Fenway and you got to make something happen because I'm not saying that they're going to give up the American League East, but here's the thing, man. You could very easily make it a more pressured
Yeah.
situation, and you can make the conversation get louder of a Red Sox comeback in the AL East, and it can change. I mean, even thinking about it, I know Toronto's recently been hot too. Like
hmm
these series matter, the division series matter, especially in June. We know the Red Sox are far back compared to the Tampa or the Blue Jays, but like this is an important weekend to cement yourself in the American League East, and
100%.
I think it can go. After watching last weekend, it can go either way, but it's an important weekend for the Yankees where they need to make stuff happen. So
And this,
that's my outlook on it.
I'm with you there. And to put things into perspective, too, yes, the Sox are 9 games back in the division. They're 3.5 games back of a wild card spot. So if you sit here thinking like the Red Sox think their season's over, I mean, they're calling up their top prospects.
They
They
just
got some
called up
Roman
Roman
Anthony.
Anthony.
Yep, they
Yeah,
got some juice in their system. They're only a couple games back of the wild card with the 3 game wild card now. So like they're playing for something, right? I mean, the O's are, even though they got hot for a sec, their season's arguably done. The Sox are not in that position. Um, but how about it, Rob? I mean, probably
don't
what?
be the thing that sparks their season,
Yes, correct,
please.
correct. At
Don't
least,
be
yeah,
the thing
happen
that's
after us at least.
yeah.
But how about like maybe 10 days ago, Rob? We're sitting here, at least maybe not us necessarily, but a lot of the media, the AL East is terrible. The AL East is terrible. Sorry to break it to you, man, but we're sitting with 3 teams out of the AL East in the playoffs if the season ends today.
That's baseball,
That's
Susan.
baseball. The Rays are like they glid, like they look so bad when we played them, and now they're like not
They
losing.
play
So
next week.
do
No,
they? I
no, they play Baltimore next week, and then I thought they played. Oh no, they play a little bit of Toronto
feel like we
this
haven't played.
month,
Will we play
one
Toronto
day.
one series this year
Toronto
so
is
far?
the at the end of the month they play 4 games, and then Toronto again
Yeah, I
in
forgot
Toronto.
Aranda's
They don't
playing
play
so well
Tampa
for
till the
them.
end of July next month, or end of July. So yeah, it's here's the thing too. I love the interleague play because it allows me to go see the teams at other, see the Yankees in other parks. But
Mhm.
now it's just it's a reminder that you play them so much more, so much less now. But you gotta
Got
take
to take advantage
advantage
of
of
them.
these series, and
They
like you
did this
said,
last year, kind of, right? Like I don't think they beat a ton of. I don't think they had a great record in division.
just please
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I know it's gonna get closer. It's baseball. It's gonna happen, but just try and give us some reason to be very encouraged in
Yes.
the
Go out
summer.
and win in dominating fashion.
Yes, that's what I would say.
Let's win the series by Saturday. That way Sunday's
I
relaxing.
like the way that
A, re-
sounds.
a relaxing Father's Day.
But first they gotta finish things off against Kansas
Yep.
City, which they'll be playing in about an hour. But
Who's pitching for them tonight? I know Clark pitches for us. Do we know who's
Clark
pitching for
pitch
them?
for Kansas City. It
Yeah, let's see.
is Buick and then Lugo
Okay.
tomorrow. Who actually the last time they played him, they hit Lugo pretty well, which I was pretty surprised about.
Bubik's got a
Um,
1.43 ERA on the year. God damn.
But I mean, yeah, Yankees had a little trouble with the Kansas City pitching. Not last
Yeah.
night, but um,
I
we'll
totally
see.
forgot Jonathan India was on their team now too.
He had a homer to make it
Yep.
10-2 instead of
Yep.
10-1. So, uh, but that's it for episode 208. We really appreciate everyone for joining us. If it's your first time listening, subscribe, Leave us a comment of what you think about the team and everything. Follow us on our social channels, Instagram, TikTok, X. Really appreciate you for listening. We'll catch you at 209. Go Yankees. Do not have a bad weekend at Fenway, please. Don't
Do
do
not.
that. Please don't. All right. We'll catch you next time. Peace.